Welcome back to my Ultimate Decades Challenge. The year is 1441. Since we last checked in, our Gen 7 heir, Myron, has grown up quite a bit. As you may recall, he wasn't a very nice child, and time hasn't done much to improve his behavior. If anything, he's gotten worse, to the point of having been kicked out of the family home back in 1429. It wasn't a decision Gertrude took lightly. She'd sworn she'd never turn her back on her children, like her parents did her. But with Gilbert's passing earlier in the year, there was no one left in the house who could overpower Myron if his outbursts continued to get worse, and she had to prioritize the safety of her daughters. Still, the guilt of it weighed heavy on her, and she made sure to give him enough money to survive on his own. It's been quite a while since Myron's made any contact with his family. His mother writes to him every year around his birthday, but her letters always go straight into the fire. These days, his cruelty is often directed toward his wife, Met, a soft-spoken young woman from the crumbling Isle. Poor Met tries so hard to make her husband happy, but the charming young man she thought she'd married rarely comes out these days. The two of them have 4 surviving children: Reva, Gilbert, Seth, and Libet, none of which Myron is particularly fond of. Met wonders often what it is she's doing to make Myron so upset. Is the house not clean enough? Is she bringing their children up all wrong? Maybe it wasn't what she was doing, but what she wasn't doing. Had she not given him enough sons? Was there a part of her wifely duties she was neglecting? If only she could talk to her mother, but being unable to read or write, and being so far from the crumbling Isle, communication with her family wasn't easy. As for Myron's siblings, Octavia tragically took her own life back in 1428, plagued by what we know today to be postpartum psychosis. Her son passed not long after, as was the fate of many babes that had no mother to nurse them. Buchan has also since crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and Earhart personally saw to it that he was buried at Octavia's grave, as he felt in his heart it's what they both would have wanted. Suri went on to marry a man named Aram Waterman, whose mother used to work in the kitchens with her late father. They have 3 beautiful daughters, Octavia, Alfred, and Wigberta, and are happy to announce they're expecting again. Raud still lives at home with her widowed mother, as will likely be the case for the rest of her life. Though considered unhireable due to her disability, Raud has found a way to make a bit of money. Before her father's passing, he taught her to play the lute, which might seem strange due to her inability to hear the music. But she always liked the vibrations the instrument gave off when she played it. It was through the vibrations she could tell she had a good tune, and though street performing didn't bring in enough to live off of, it felt good to be able to earn her own money. Finally, I'm sure you're all wondering about the youngest of the Rosenfeld siblings. Well, he's been happily living as a man for the past 7 years. At the age of 14, Henrik confided in his mother that he no longer wanted to be a girl, and would like to be addressed by his chosen name. Gertrude still doesn't really understand the whole thing, but seeing how important this was to him, and unwilling to risk losing yet another child, she did and still does her best to be supportive. 2 years after coming out, Henrik got an apprenticeship with a tanner on the crumbling Isle, and quickly made the move from his family home. Not long after settling in, he got quite the surprise when, for the first time in his life, he met someone like him. He and Catherine quickly bonded and fell in love, marrying in the spring of 1438. The two currently have 3 children, Tova, Irma, and Zelig. Back with our main household, Met has some big news. She is pregnant again, but Myron isn't happy. He didn't want any more children. He didn't even want Libet. How could she let this happen again? Left alone and heartbroken, Met couldn't do anything but sob. She was so happy to be having another baby. How could he say such things? What was she going to do?